Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic and the return of an old friend to the channel. This is called Clone College and it's by SSG, and I think this only came into us a few days ago, but one of the testers who's looked at it said it's an absolutely brilliant puzzle. So I'm going to be having a go at it today, and hopefully it will go well. It's got clones in it, you can see. I can't remember the last time I had to deal with clones in a puzzle, but it feels like it was a while ago. Now, what have I got to tell you before we kick off with solving? A few things on a very busy day for me today. Actually, I'm going to start with yesterday's chess puzzle. Now, this is really, really wonderful to me. So this puzzle was shared with me at dinner by a friend of mine who is massively into crosswords, has absolutely nothing to do with Sudoku at all. And it turns out that this chess problem, and the problem, by the way, if you've not checked it out, is this position possible after Black's ninth move? And this was created by Joe Wovrin, who's appeared on the channel with their Sudokus before. It's absolutely weird that this chess problem has somehow made its way out of the, what I call the Sudoku world, but I'm sure Joe Wovrin inhabits a lot of other worlds, and then it's come back to me by a totally circuitous route. So I love this, and Joe's actually been kind enough to send me a new chess problem, which I will share with you in due course. But this one still needs more contemplation. And if you haven't looked at it, do check it out, because it will surprise you and I think delight you as well. What else do I have to tell you? Lots of things. I'm going to start with some birthdays, I think. Ashley, you've turned 29 today, and I know this because we had a nice email from your fiance Jake. And Ashley, I hope your mum and grandmum, or grandmother, I suppose is more appropriate, are doing better. And I hope you enjoy your raspberry cheesecake today. I understand that's preferred in your household to the chocolate cake. But raspberry cheesecake, I think I can get on board with that. So I'm all good, and I hope you have a brilliant day, of course. Next, Ellie. Ellie, I think we missed your birthday a couple of days ago. You turned 25, and I know this because your boyfriend Isaac wrote to us and let us know. I'm not saying whether it was Isaac that was late with the message or me who was late with the message, but one of us was late. And Ellie, I hope you had a brilliant birthday. Catherine, it was your birthday yesterday as well, a couple of late birthdays, but today, Catherine, I know it's the anniversary of you meeting your fiancée Rose, so I hope that Catherine and Rose, you can have a great day celebrating today. And I don't know whether you have chocolate cake on anniversaries, but you really should. And then Sarah over in Hungary. Sarah, your email was it touched us, let's just put it like that. I know you've turned 29 today. I hope you have an absolutely brilliant day over there, and thank you so much for writing such a nice email to us. Now, and the only other thing I have to do is to read out the final slug of names for people who correctly solved the entirety of Fistamofel's Sudoku hunt. So I've been reading names for days and days and days. Our patrons are absolutely brilliant solvers, and congratulations to Demance, Ivo Van Zelm, Scott Beard, Jeffrey C. Began, Barry Osborne, Lindsay and Aaron Frederick, Anne-Marie DeHaan, Ryan Mustaine, Yuri Bock, Tammy, Doogie, Anthony Zed, James Spence, and Miriam Stain, and their baby Luca. And Luca is brand new and arrived just in time to prevent Miriam and Stain from sending in their solutions to the Fistamofel hunt on the 10th. But I'm very happy to give you a day or two's grace, and I congratulate you wholeheartedly on the birth of your son, and I hope everything is going swimmingly in your household. Now, let's have a look at Clone College and see what SSG has got in store for us. Again, SSG is one of those names I just associate with high IQ. So that's sort of what goes on in my head when you say SSG to me. So these are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits in cages must sum to the total given in the top left corner of the cage. And I see all of the cages in today's puzzle are all in the same box of the Sudoku, so we don't need a rule about digits not being able to repeat. And then clones, we've got each coloured shape is a clone. Digits must appear in identical positions in each copy of a clone. So if this clone was 1, 2, 3, then this clone would have to be 1, 2, 3. It has to be identical, not just in its composition of digits, but in the position of those digits as well. And that's it. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking and see what we can see. I can see I've got a 5-cell 16 cage, which is awfully kind of SSG. There's only one way of making 16 in 5 cells. It's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6. There's an 8 cage which must have a 1 in it. It's either going to be 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. There's a 15 cage which is either 6, 9 or 7, 8. No. My mouse twitched there towards the 9 cage, but I realised there were far too many ways of making 9 in 3 cells. 1, 2, 6, 1, 3, 5 and 2, 3, 4. So we're not going to pencil mark that. 13 has 3 ways. Yeah. Okay. I am not seeing anything else, so we probably have to think about the clones. And at okay. Okay, well the first, I've now looked at all the clones, and I can see some things, but none of them look actually terribly clever to me. So, I mean, I started off, just looked at the blue clones there. Now that digit is obviously that digit, which therefore means that it's by Sudoku it goes in one of those 3 cells. Those 2 cells are the same as those 2 cells by clone logic. So they've got to occupy 2 of those 3 cells. But I mean, I've no idea. I mean, obviously, even if I knew they were in the 20 cage, that wouldn't be greatly helpful. Those 2 are the same, so 2 of those 3 cells are red. 2 of these 3 cells are green. And then we've got I don't even know what I call this colour. What would we call this colour? Beige. It's quite beige, I think. No, I mean there's some Sudoku implications of the cages of the clones, but they don't look nearly dramatic enough for us to actually get any digits. I wonder if this is Fistamafel. I have to say, whenever I see 2x2 boxes like this, I wonder whether there's some set variation of Fistamafel that I don't actually know this variation, if this is a variation. I'm just going to highlight those cells for a moment. Let me highlight those in my particularly garish green. These aren't really in the right places to be the Fistamafel ring. For those of you who don't know, I'll just remind you there is a theorem in Sudoku that says that those 16 digits are the same digits as appear in the 2x2s in the corner of a Sudoku. And there are various ways of extending that theorem, to say, you can find out stuff about these 2x2 boxes, but I'm not really sure. I can think of one that uses boxes 2, 4, 6 and 8. No, okay. Is it going to be something like saying that... Is this going to be some sort of puzzle by exclusion? So if you can say that the 9 cage can't appear in beige or blue, oh no, I know what this is. I know what this is. Okay. That's interesting. Right. When I say I know what this is, I'm 99%. I am actually 99% sure I know what this is because I've just noticed something obvious. Yeah. Okay, this is going to be it. Right. So let's, instead of thinking about what I was just thinking about, let's think about the total collection of clones. Red, blue, beige green. So I can see that I'm going to be able to create some sort of mathematical relationship between those 4 cells. I'll use my fluorescent green, and these 2 cells I will use purple. Those cells have a relationship that's, I don't know what that relationship is yet, but it's based off the secret. Now the secret is something I only tell my very favourite people, but I get occasionally on this channel I get the chance to share it with you. And the secret is, it's about the total of the digits in any Sudoku box, in any Sudoku row, in any Sudoku column. If you add up the digits in that box, because you're adding up the digits 1 to 9 once each, you will find the digits sum to 45, and that's a secret. Don't tell anybody. But surely then, I don't quite know how to explain this as well as I... okay, how am I going to explain this in a way that's clear? So what I want to do is I want to incorporate the fact that if I actually... let me just highlight those cells. Does that... no, see, that's a bad thing because the colours aren't going to be visible. I want to... maybe I can... do it like that, maybe. Yeah, okay, we can do, I'll do it like that with different colours. So I want to think about those cells and those cells as a package. Now, we know that the collection of digits in these in the red outlined areas sum to 90 because of the secret. And we know that that 90, we could break that down mathematically into cages that sum to 28, all of the different clone cells, whatever they sum to, but we don't know what that number is, and those 4 digits there. So the 2 red areas, i.e. box 3 and box 7 together, are expressible mathematically as 28 plus clones plus those cells that are not caged and not in clones. But surely I can repeat that logic for this box and this box. And if I was to repeat the exercise for these, which now I think we can agree up front that the total of these blue cells, which are 18 cells there, the total for all of those cells is clearly 90 as well, because it's 2 lots of... in fact, maybe the 90's a misnomer. Maybe we don't need that. Yeah, we probably don't need the... maybe I just don't need the secret, actually. Well, I sort of need the secret. Because, yeah, okay, let's express the total, the blue total, mathematically. We can express that as 17, i.e. those 3 cells plus those 3 cells, plus all the clones, plus these 2 cells. So we know that these 18 blue cells have the same total as these 18 red cells. So what we can do, because the clone cells are common to both parts of the equations, if you like, if we line the blue up as 17 plus clones plus these 2, let's put A into those, and we line, and then we say the red cells are equal to 28 plus clones plus the 4 B cells, then we can just cancel out. We can cancel out the clones from both sides of the equation. And what we're going to find is that basically the A cells plus 17 are equal to the B cells plus 28, and there are a lot more B cells, and 28 is a lot bigger than 17. So we're going to have to make A very large. If we can make A double 9. These A's don't see each other. So if we were to make A double 9, then we know we've got 17. 17 plus 18 is 35. So the B cells would have to add up to 7 to make that work, because we know that we know those cells add up to 28, and the B's have to be the difference between the 28 and the 35. So if we make the 2A cells 9, which is the most we can make them, then we've hardly got any degrees of freedom about what we make the B cells, because these cells, to make these add up to 7, which is the most we would be allowed to make them add up to, you can see that's quite tricky actually. We'd have to do, well, we could do 1 and 2 and 1 and 3, for example. That would be the only way of doing it. But so we've got 1 degree of freedom is what we're learning basically. This is either double 9. Ah, that's my that's my email box, which is a bit worrying. Let's try and go back. Thank you very much. I might edit out the last moment because I don't really want to my email inbox to be to be revealed. I don't know what I pressed then, but I didn't mean to press it. Anyway, I was just working out. Yeah, so we've got 1 degree of freedom. We could make those double 9, or we could make them an 8-9 pair. Now, if we make them an 8-9 pair, then we've got, then these cells have got to add up to 6, and they'd have to be a 1-2 and a 1-2. But if we make these double 9, we can make these. We can make one of the boxes add up to 3 and one of the boxes add up to 4 to give us the 7 that we need. Okay, so what we've got then is this. But we know that they've got to be, oh, hang on, I've got a digit now. Aha! Aha! Because the maximum I can make those 4 B digits add up to is 7, I can't not have a 1 in each of these boxes. There must be a 1 in one of those 2 cells, because otherwise this would be a minimum of adding up to 5. This would add up to a minimum of 3 more, and that's 8, and 8 is bigger than 7, so that's not going to work. So we've got to have a 1 in one of those, we've got to have a 1 in one of those, there's a 1 in the 8 cage, so there we go, we've got a digit. This is not a 1, that is a 1. That's putting some pressure on the 9 cage now, which could have a 1 in it there. And now we get stuck again. There is... sorry, I don't know what there is. There is... Oh, no, I do know. This is lovely. It's absolutely lovely, actually. Oh, it's really cool. Right. Okay, I want to look at the beige domino, because this beige domino is surprisingly interesting. People might tell you that beige things aren't interesting. Well, that beige domino is interesting because it doesn't have a 1 in it. So that means that beige domino does not have a 1 in it. But this blue triomino, that doesn't have a 1 in it. So those cells don't have a 1 in it. So the 1 in this box is in the 9 cage and it goes there. That is gorgeous. And that, oh, that's that. Look. So now I get a 1 in the corner by Sudoku. I don't have a 1 there. There's a 1 in one of these cells by Sudoku. There's a 1 in one of those cells by Sudoku. We know there's a 1 in the 16 cross. There's a virtual 2-3 pair in column 9 because the 8 cage is either going to have a 2 or a 3 in it, so yeah, I see. Right, okay. Oh, is that wrong? Oh, no, it's not. Oh, no, it's not wrong. It's beautiful. It's beautiful again. Okay, so now ask the question: how could those 2 and 3 be the same digit? And the reason that that's immediately interesting to me is that this is the red region, which incorporates all colours of clonage. So if those 2 digits were 3 and we got to put a 3 in the corner, for example, then you can see that the clone digits are not allowed to be 3s anywhere in the puzzle. But But that's going to mean in this box, the 3 has to go in the 8 cage because it couldn't be in a cloned colour. And that's going to cause a 3 to clash. And it's the same if we make the 2s, obviously. Then we'd have to put a 2 down here and it's going to clash. And that's absolutely perfect because now we can say for certain that this cell and this cell have to be different. And if they have to be different, one of them has to be a 3. And therefore, the sum of the B digits has to be 7, which means that we are adding 7 to 28, was it? So we do know that in blue we need to head up towards a 35 total. Well, we've got 17 there, which means we need 18 in those 2 cells, which means those 2 cells are double 9. That is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? That is so cool. And now, yeah, so now I'm just going to reverse my logic. So I was looking at the cloned colours in boxes 3 and 7. I'm going to look at my cloned colours in boxes 1 and 9. Now there is no 9 in any cloned colour. So we can come back to these boxes and ask where 9 goes. It cannot be in a cloned colour, so that's got to be a 4-9 pair, and that's got to be a 6-9 pair, adding up to 15. And now there's a 9 in one of these 3 cells, there's a 9 in one of those 3 cells, so there's no 9 in the 19 cage, which is... no, that's probably not terribly interesting, actually. Would have been interesting if that had been a 3-cell cage. Oh, 9. 9 is there by Sudoku. Trust me to miss out on the opportunity to do some Sudoku. Oh dear, dear, dear. Right, okay, so is that as far as that goes? I'm almost tempted to... in fact, I should do that, shouldn't I? If I can justify labelling the central cross as 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, I should certainly label the 4 cells in the corner of box 5 as 5, 7s, 8s and 9s. Oh. Yeah, okay. Where is the 9 in this box? And rather than doing Sudoku, I'm going to do maths now. If I put the 9 in the 17 cage... the other 3 digits would have to add up to 8, and they'd need to use a 1, which doesn't appear to be able to go in the 17 cage. So that's cool. We get a 9 here. We don't have 9s in there. We have a 9 in one of those, which means in this box now we can place the 9 by Sudoku. It's got to be in the 18 cage. So those 3 digits are a virtual 9 cage. Which, oh no, it looks like it wants to have a 1 in it, doesn't it? Doesn't have to, though. I'm not sure. Okay. Can we... right, so we must have to use... I think we're going to use either the 4 or the 6 next. That's what it feels like. It feels very important. Every digit you can lock out of a cloned colour. Or is it actually? Maybe it's... so red and blue can't have 6 in them. Okay, alright, so I couldn't do anything with the 4. I tried to in my head, but it wasn't working. I'm going to use the 6 instead, because 6... is not in red or blue. So in this box, 6 definitely can't be in the 8 cage, and it's not in the red, so it must be in the green, which means 6 is in the green up there. Has that done anything at all? I don't know, actually. I think that 6 is letting itself down somewhat. I can't see how to use that, sorry. What's it going to be then if it's not that? Can I do better with the 4? So if the 4... so the 4 is not in beige, which is over here. Oh, okay, yeah, no, I can do better with the 4. The 4 is in... Oh, that's really clever. Okay. Yeah, it is easy to use the 4 if you think about it in the context of the 9 cage a bit more cleverly than I did. If the 4... Well, the 4 is not in beige by clone logic. If the 4 was in the 9 cage, there'd have to be another 4. So there is a 4 in blue, and you can actually place it, and therefore you can place it down here, because obviously the clone cells are the same. So 4... Oh, that's it. That does it. Oh, lovely. Because now 4 is not in red anymore here, and 4 is not in green. So it's not there. So 4 is in the 8 cage, which must now be a 134 cage. That is so clever. It's weird and wonderful. Now that's not 1, look. This is a 2 in the corner, which means that's a 3 in the corner, because we know that that's different. It's not a 3 in a corner that gets a song, but it's still a very welcome thing. So, oh, I thought that was going to be in a clone cell, but of course it's not. So red and blue. So 3 in this box. Is that somehow... 3 is not in green. 3 is in beige. Ah, yeah, okay. Because 3 is not in green, it's not there. So 3 is in beige, which means 3 is in there. Which means that this 9 cage now is not 135, so that's 126, which means I get to place a 6 in green, which means I get to place another 6 by clone in green. I get to place a 6 in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku. So, okay, here's a small point. 6, look, is aligning in these dominoes in boxes 1 and 7. So the 6 in column 1 is not able to be in those cells. It's not able to be in these cells, so it's got to be in one of those cells. Now, the 20 cage hasn't got a 6 in it. I don't think that's going to be terribly informative. Oh, can that be a 6 in the 18 cage? If that's a 6, that's a 1-2 pair. That would be a 4. 5, 7 and 8 into those. 5, 7 and 8 into the... There's so much coordination. Can I use... No, well, the fact I've got this 1, 3, 4, I've actually thought a bit about 3s and 4s and 1s already, so what is it then? What is it I'm meant to be spotting here? I don't know. Okay, I've got a 2 here. I haven't used a 2. So I've locked 2. Oh, 2's already out of beige. What about locking 2 out of blue? Okay, yeah, that's good. So 2 is not in blue. So 2 is in rose or pink, which means 2 is in pink down here, which means 2 is in one of those cells by Sudoku. If 2... No, I was about to say if 2's in pink, it's not in green, but it's quite clearly not in green up there right, either. Got nothing here. Come on, Simon. Okay, one of those 2 digits is a 1 or a 3, because I've got this 1-3 pair here. If you look at this row and ask where 1s and 3s go, I can't put 1s and 3s in those cells because that's a 1-3-4 triple. So these aren't 1 and 3, those aren't 1 and 3, so one of these has got to be 1 and 3. So one of those is 6 as well, so this is a 1-3-6 triple in the row. I don't think that allows me to know what this is. me think about this. That's not 1. Because these 3 cells, remember, are a virtual 9 cage. If that's a 1, you need this to be 3, 5. That doesn't work. Or 2, 6. That doesn't work. Now, if this is 3, 3, 2, 4 might... Oh, 3, 2, 4 might work. Three, 2, 4. That becomes a 1. Hang on. Am I going mad, or is that just put... If that's 3, that can't be 2, 4, because both of those cells then become 1. So if that is 3, that is a 1, 5 pair, I think. And that's interesting for one reason. If this is a 6, which is the only other thing it could be, then this is a 1, 2 pair. So these squares are either 1, 2 or 1, 5, but they always have a 1 in them, which means that cell's a 4. I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused about that, though, as a deduction. That felt very strange. It felt like I'm missing some simple Sudoku deduction that would have given me that in a more straightforward way. Let me just think about that for a second. If that's 3... that's 1. That's 4. That has to be a 1, 5 pair. I don't know. I think there's an easier way to see this. I just can't see what it is. But anyway, there is definitely a 1 there. So that's got to be a 4. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Trying to keep an eye on you. And I don't know if I can do it. Oh, okay. I can't take that call. I will call that person back a little bit later. Right. Oh, 3. Oh, 3 is almost, look, in the 19 cage. How do I make it so that my phone stops buzzing at me? I don't know how to do that. 3. Okay, so... can you actually put a 1, 3 pair in this 19 cage? Then that would have to be a 7, 8 pair. That would be a 7, 8. That would be a 7, 8. You probably can, actually. I'm not sure. Right. Golly, okay. What do I do now? Okay, that's gone to some sort of voicemail thing. I don't know. Is it? Oh, okay. I've got the same. Right, I've got the same sort of thing going on there. Look. So if that was a 1, 3 pair, can that be? That would be a 7, 9 pair. That would potentially work. Wow. Okay, I've got... there must be something simple we can do here. Can we... 6 is up there. I think maybe I'm going to have to focus a bit on Sudoku, which is a terrifying thought. 2 is in one of those cells. Do I know there's a 2 in this 17 cage? If there wasn't, 3, 4, 5, 6 adds up to 18. Yes. Okay, that's true, I think. Because there's no 1 in this 17 cage, if there was no 2 in it, it would be 3, 4, 5, 6 at a minimum. And 3, 4, 5 and 6 add up to 18, which is more than 17. So there is a 2 in this cage, which is potentially interesting. Oh, yeah, no, hang on. Look, there's a 4 in this cage. That makes things easier. So there's a 2 and a 4 in the cage. So, right, okay, I know what this is then. Because the other 2 digits have to add up to 11, and they can't be 2, 9, they can't be 4, 7, and they're not allowed to be 5, 6. So this is known. This is 2, 4, 3, 8. There's no 2 in those squares, so this is 3, 4 or 8. Those are not 4, so this is 2, 3 or 8. And is it true to say that one of those digits is a 3 by the power of clone? Yes, it is, isn't it? Okay, this is really cool. If this is there's only 2 potential positions for 3 in the beige clone. If that's 3 by clone. If that's 3, well, if that's 3, that's 3. So there's always going to be a 3 in one of these, which means those squares are not 3. They're 2, 8, which means these squares are 3, 4. And all of a sudden, look, we've got a 5, 7. Well, that's not 3 anymore. That's the simple deduction. So 3 moves up to there, which means it's up there now. And these squares, and all of these squares are 5s, 7s and 8s. That square is not 8, so the beige clone's bottom is now not 8. That square by Sudoku is 5 or 7. Eight is in the bottom. Well, actually, we can just use this, can't we? We've got 5s, 7s and 8s in the bottom of the green clone. Including definitely an 8. So what do we know about the red clone now? Don't know actually. So I see. Okay, all right. So this box could have been 2, 5. We've only got 2, 5, 7 and 8 to place. So those squares are from 2, 5 and 7, which we can then transpose over into the clone here. 2. Yes, okay, so look, I spotted the fact that there was a sort of X-wingy type thing on 6s. But what I didn't spot is there's an X-wingy type thing on 2s. So there's got to the 2 in column 1 has to be over there, not in the 20 cage. I don't think that's going to be good enough, actually. Okay, what's the digit? Oh, 5, 7 and 8 in the blue cage now. So 5, 7 and 8 come over here. Oh, so I'm getting confused between my green clone and my blue clone. And I've not managed to use the middle box basically at all yet. Oh, nearly. Very nearly. Okay, there is an awful... Where's 7 in the middle column? One of 2 places, either at the top or the bottom. You can see that we're very close. I mean, that's very close to a quadruple. And if this is a low digit, then we have got a quadruple, or quintuple, I suppose. And if that's a low digit, you've got another quintuple going that way. No, okay, I can't quite get my head around how that's meant to work. What we might have to do is to think about... Sorry, I realise I just stopped mid-sentence. I don't like doing that, but my brain is flashing things all over the place at me. What we might have to do is start colouring our our clone cells. For example, those 2 cells are the same digit, aren't they? That cell and that cell are the same. That cell and that cell are the same. Is there a way we can... It must be possible to do more work with these cages. Can I get this one sorted out? If that's 3, that's a 1-5 pair. That's going to make that a 7-8 pair. That a 2-5 pair. That a 7-8 pair. So we'd have 7-8, 7-8. That would be 2, 5. So we get the same sort of top of the blue clone would be the same as the bottom of the green clone. That wouldn't actually necessarily, I can't see immediately why that would break the puzzle. 6 would go with 1, 2. That would be 5, 7, 8. Okay. Or maybe it's simple Sudoku. 9 is nearly locked into this 20 cage. 9 is definitely not in the 19 cage. No, I'm sorry, I'm not spotting whatever it is that I'm meant to be seeing here. 6 is nearly in the 19 cage, but it's when I say nearly, I mean nearly. It's not actually in it, or not for sure in it. And until we can actually lock it down, I don't quite know what we do with this information. What we could do is to say that I don't know. How do we do this? How do we do this? What is it that I'm meant to be spotting here? It could be... sorry, and I know I've completely corpsed here because I can't see anything clever to do. Oh, I've got a 5, 7, 8 triple. Hang on, I have got something. Look at that. That is a 5, 7, 8 triple in this column. So that's not 5. So that's come down to 1 or 2. Is that really all I get from this? You rotten thing. What's that cell in the bottom of the grid? Is that Sudoku impaired? It might be, actually. What is this digit? Okay. It's not 2, apparently, because of this clone. It's not 1, so it's not 1, 2, or 3. It might be able to be 4. It's not 5. It's not 6. It's not 7, 8, and it's not 9. Good. Okay, that's vicious. That is vicious. There is a naked single hidden at the bottom of column 4. So bottom of column 6, I should say. So that has become a 4. Sorry, brief hiatus there. I had to take that phone call. Yeah, as I say, I think a lot of things going on in and around the Anthony household at the moment. However, I remember I'd got my 5, 7, 8 triple, and I got my 4 here, which is going to be magnificent for the following reason. It gets rid of a 4 here, and it gives me a 1 or a 6, I want to say, in that square. It can't be 2 or 3 because we've already got those in the row. So this is 1 or 6, and that is going to be... Hang on a moment. Let's just work out what this is doing. Because this dastardly 4, I mean, that's just evil. There is going to be something very cunning that we can do with this, and it is... I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's going to be 1, 5, 1, 5, 6, 7 into these squares. No, okay, I don't know what that is. All right, let's try and use the 4 in the row then. So in the row, we've not placed 2, 5, 7, and 8. So these squares are 2, 5, 7, and 8, not 2 apparently. Yeah, okay, we know we've got 2 in the rose colour. So this is 5, 7, or 8. No. No, that's not good enough either. It looks like it wants to be good enough, doesn't it? Oh, hang on. There's in this triple, the 8 is definitely in the bottom 2 cells of it. So there's no 8 down there. So now we've got 5. No, it still doesn't do it. We've got 5. We've almost got a triple in column 4. No, still it resists. What about... don't know. It looks like we're awfully close to sort of quadruples and quintuples in column 5. It must be. It just must be to do with these 2x2s, mustn't it? I've just not used these at all. In fact, I've not really used the 16 cage in the middle either. Oh no, I thought I'd seen another triple in this column, but I haven't. I mean, the other terrifying thing is that we might have to colour all of our individual clones cells, which I don't relish. Oh God, oh gosh, I thought I'd broken the puzzle then. No, okay, I was looking at this 5-7, and of course it goes there. I was looking at that 5-7 and thinking that had to be the same as that, and I was thinking there was nowhere for it to go in row 1, and that is... okay, so that digit is in one of those 2 cells. No, okay, much easier than that. Where, right, that digit is the clone of that digit, which means it's a 5 or a 7, but it's not in green. So where does it go in this box? If it can't be in green, it can't be those 2. By Sudoku, it can't be that one. So that digit goes there, and therefore that digit is not a 2. So the 2, we get the 2 in rows, and that digit, and that digit are all the same. I'm going to just label those with an A in the corner to try and keep track of that. Now, if that's 2 by the power of rows. 2 goes here by the power of Sudoku. That becomes a 6. 6 and 9 go into the grid. 9 is now in one of 3 cells in box thingy. This has become an A again, because it's the same as this one, remember? That's very important for the following reason. Come on, what's this doing? Oh, I've got a 5-7-8 triple in this column now. Why didn't I see... oh, it's because it wasn't one before. It wasn't one before because that cell could have been a 2. Okay, that's... I will forgive myself that then. Right, so look, I've got a 1, 2, 3 triple now in column 8. Oh, nearly... 1, 2. So we very nearly got either a quadruple or a quintuple, if we can extend that somehow. What's going on in this cage now? 19 cage has got low digits in it. Yeah, I see. Right, it's not got a 9 in it because the 9's over there, so it must have an 8 in it. If it doesn't have an 8 in it, we can't possibly get to 19. If I max these digits out with a 2-3 pair, these still have to add up to 14. So in fact, not only do they have to have an 8 in it, can we say more than that? Well, maybe we don't have to. Maybe we don't have to. I've just worked out there must be an 8 in this 19 cage. So that seems to suggest that that's become an 8 in our green clone, which means that's become an 8 by clone logic. So now I've got a 5-7 pair in this column, and these squares are now known in the sense that they're all even, aren't they? They're 4, 6, and 8 in this column. So can I really put a 4 in here? No, because 4 plus 2 plus 3 is 9, and that would require the other digit to be a 10. So this is 6, 8, which is 14, which means these have to be a 2-3 pair to add up to 5. We get the 1, we get the 4, we get those digits, or we get the composition of those digits, 5, 7, and 9. 1, 4 here, I suspect, is going to be the magic. He says. That's probably optimistic. Oh. Bobbin's face. Oh, no, no, no. Come on. What on earth? No, don't see it at all. That 1-4 felt like it was a massive thing. A 4 is now restricted in box 4 to one of 2 places. It's got to be this 20 cage now, hasn't it? This, well, or that 18 cage perhaps. Let's just focus a bit on this 20 cage. What can we say about this that we couldn't say before? Ah, yeah, okay. That digit looks interesting to me. Yes, I get 3. Ah, okay, this is it. Right, so what's that digit? The answer is we don't know. But by Sudoku, of all things, it's not able to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6. So it is 5, 7, 8, or 9. Now that looks very interesting for those cells' reasons. Those cells are 5s, 7s, 8s, and 9s, and there are 4 of them. Now, if I'm not mistaken, therefore, the remaining 3 digits in this row are selectable from 2, 3, and 6, and that square sees a 2 and a 6. So that has to be 3, which means that that is not 3, that is not 3, this is not 3, this is a 2 or a 6. Okay. That's going to be important for the following reason. Can you put 4 in this 20 cage? That would give us these two adding up to 13 without using 4, 9, 5, 8, or 7, 6. No, 7, 6 wouldn't work. 5, 8 would be the only way that would work. I don't know. Oh, this is tricky. It's suddenly got very, very difficult. This column has now got 5 digits in it, so we're looking for 1s, 5s, 7s, and 8s. Let's just check whether we can do any Sudoku-related nonsense in these rows or columns. That's another message. That's okay. That's okay. I don't have to take that one right now. So if that's a 1, then I have got a quintuple in that row. If that's 1, those digits are selectable only from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. That would give me an 8 here. And these would have to be a 7, 9 pair, but I think that's possible. That would become a 4. If that's 5, that has to be 4. That would give me a different quintuple in that row. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna keep looking at this square. Actually, this square cannot be 8 because we know that there's an 8 in the blue clone, and if it's there, it transposes to that position, knocks an 8 out of here. If it's there, obviously it already knocks an 8 out of that position. So this is 1, 5, or 7. Now, I think I'm comfortable in saying that there is a virtual quintuple if that is 1 or 5. Because if that's 5, I've got 8 here. These two have to add up to 12 without using 3, 9, or 5, 7. So they'd have to be a 4, 8 pair. And that square would be a 4, creating a quintuple in those cells. So I just have to somehow prove that 7 results in a quintuple, and we're good to go. So if this is 7, then I've got 10. So that couldn't be a 5 or a 7. This would have to be an 8, or that just doesn't work. Actually, I don't even need the quintuple. 7 is not possible here, because let me show you that slowly. If that's a 7, This is a 10 domino, so this is a 10 domino. Can't be double 5, can't repeat the 7. So this is 8, 9, which means this is 1 or 2. It can't be that. So that cell is just not 7. Right, okay, so this is complicated now, but you can now see if this is 1, that is a quintuple on 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. If this is 5, we said that became 4, and that 4 creates a quintuple. So there is a floating quintuple between those 6 digits on the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. So that square cannot be a 6 and has to be an 8. So we get 8 and 6 into the grid, which means that's not a 6 by the power of stuff. What's this digit then, which is the only... I've got full pencil Mark here. Mark would be very proud of me. This digit is... Oh, well, it's not... Yeah, it can't be 2 or 6, because we know that there's a floating quintuple on 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. So that square is not 2 or 6, which seems to mean that that square has got to be the 2 in the column. So that's 2, that's 6, that's 2. Aha! What's that doing? Yeah, that still does some things. 2 and 8 go into the grid. 8 comes out of the bottom. Look, 8 goes there now by Sudoku. 2. Yes, 2 is in one of those cells. It's now been proved to be there, which might be important. Or not. Does that tell me 6 went with 1, 2. 3 went with 1, 5, didn't it? I think. Yeah, it does tell me. So how do we make those 3 squares now add up to 9? Well, it's got to be 6, 1, 2. Which gives me that digit. Gives me that digit. That gives me this digit. 3 comes out of all of these. 4, 6 pair. That gives me that digit. That gives me a 5 here. That wasn't what I was actually expecting. So now... Well, now the top... Oh, now this becomes a 1. But that digit's a 7 or an 8. And that transposes there. So that gives me a 7, 8 pair in my blue, which means that my completion of rows is with a 5. That gives me a completion of 7 there. That becomes a 5 at the bottom of beige. Okay, I could have got that another way, I'm now seeing. This becomes a 7 or an 8. And this is the cage that's going to... Yeah, this cage. Now, when we knew that was a 5, remember we worked out that was going to be a 4, 8 pair, and there's only one way up that can work. So 4 and 8 go in the grid. 4 and 6 go in the grid. 8 goes here by the power of Sudoku. It looks like it might be cracking. I don't want to speak too soon, but it might be. 8 gives me a 7 here by Sudoku. So 7, 8. Let's make sure the clone unwinds correctly. This column hasn't got a 9 in it, so that's a 9 by Sudoku. That's not 9, that's a 3, so that's a 2. That's not 7. This is not 9, so the 9 goes there. We've just got to figure out these 5s and 7s, I think. That's a 3. That's a 3, that's a 4. Okay, that's a 7. So that's a 5, that's a 7, that's a 5, that's a 7. In this column we need 5s and 7s, and that's got to be a 5 then. So that's a 7, that's a 5, and that's going to be a 6 as our final digit. And that, I think, is the way to solve the puzzle. Absolutely brilliant that was. I loved the break-in. And I absolutely loved the bouncing around the clones after that. So getting that these were different was a nice thought, wasn't it? And then I can't quite remember, but we could do stuff when we worked out that 9s couldn't be in the coloured clones. All sorts of stuff started bouncing around. I then got stuck trying to figure out how to use these 2x2s correctly. I found the last part of the puzzle very, not fiddly is the wrong word, but tricky, and I'm wondering whether I could have done something more a bit cleverer, rather than my floating quintuple in row 5, but I will rely on the comments to tell me how I should have done that. I look forward to the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.